This is the first time to come down and speak to you. Is it yourself I've been asked to come down and speak to you?
Can I just ask your name and rank, please?
Yes, you can. My name is Alex Dale. I'm Inspector. My call number is 1058.
Perfect, thank you very much.
Are you standing on your own?
Standing under my own?
Yes.
What oath are we talking about?
Your attestation to the King.
I'm perfectly aware of my oath.
I'm
on duty. I'm doing my job as a police officer.
That's perfect. No, we don't want to get animated. That's fine. Let's not start off in the wrong foot. That's fine.
Absolutely.
Let's rewind.
Working as a police officer.
Let's rewind.
I sense that what I'm going to say is going to upset you in some way.
Do you want to turn your camera around so that it's? It's adjustable.
Okay.
Perfect.
It's maybe not to record your faces.
No, that's fine.
It's just to record.
Oh, we don't mind. We're absolutely fine with it.
Now, if I'm led to believe things correctly, you've come in because you're not happy with, or you want to find out action that's been taken regarding your granddaughter. Is that right?
Well, there's a lot of complaints.
Yeah.
Okay.
Making crime reference.
It's the main concern. The main concern is the safety of the child, which is already 24 hours. It's already 24 hours too late.
Was it yourself that reported the matter to us?
No.
No, I've just done it now. Yeah, but we did on the 19th as well.
Yeah, on the 20th of last month, we made a report, and we're told that. We would hear from, well, the police couldn't deal with it. The social, the emergency service that we phoned said they'd get back to us, and we didn't hear anything. And that was on the 20th, and then on the Monday we heard that the social worker in charge had satisfied herself that everything was okay.
And then again, when I went yesterday.
And then the child was seen again yesterday, and has significant bruises. And has bruises from the waist down, the buttocks, the inner thighs, and so on.
Ankles.
And the report that was made last night by a social worker who's not working on this case but just is
23 years experience.
Yeah, she's experienced, and she said, you know, the most likely explanation for this is that this child is suffering some kind of abuse. Now, this is the grandmother's obviously beside herself, the mother's beside herself, and that was 24 hours ago. We were told we would hear from the social services. We haven't done. Okay.
I'm not going to apologise on behalf of social services. They have their own timetable and what they're going to do. Much as we would all love to be keeping people informed as to what happens during things, if they haven't called you, they should have done. I'm sorry. If it was us, I'd like to think we would have done better, but I can't apologise for them for not doing that. Okay. Everything you've told us, as I understand it.
I'll just read this out to you, please, because I need you to understand. Now, this is the social worker. 23 years experience.
I understand.
Works in court. Does reports on child abuse, sexual abuse. Disleague the unedited photos. I wish to bring to your attention the fact that the bruises are all within the bottom region. In my experience, I cannot rule out possible sexual abuse because of the nature and position of the bruising. If an immediate child protection medical is not conducted tonight, I can assure you further action will be taken. If left in the care of the foster carer or indeed any other child within care in the next hour, the Director CEO head of the police will receive an email. Can I please respectfully request that you update me?
Okay.
Dear all, following on from the last two emails, I wish to advise you that have you to go and get my granddaughter and take her to the hospital.
Show him the photograph.
I need to be there.
One moment. Now, I know you
No,
want
I'm going to show you the marks on it.
Yeah. You need to see them.
You
do need to see them.
Has there been a that's probably.
So all the marks have been out. So these are the fingertip marks, stomach being held down forced. And then all the others that she's marked out.
Officer, has the child protection examination taken
Now,
place?
one moment, because I'm not going to disclose things to all of you here that I am not absolutely certain that I'm know. Okay? There are certain procedures on it. Now, if it's yourself that has brought this to our attention, I can give you an occurrence number, and I can give you my personal reassurance that everything you've told us has been recorded and it is being investigated. And I can confirm that we have visited with social services and specially trained child support agency officers today to visit the child.
Have you taken her out of
Okay? We have not. and we will not be doing so.
And why not when you see this evidence?
I'm not going to go into what specifically is contained in that report, and the wording that is used, and any of those things. But I'm satisfied, having read that they have done things properly today, and we will not be taking a child.
So then let's get down to it. Let's give you the information where social services have continuously lied, and I've got all the evidence to prove, and now you're saying that she's been left in their care.
Let's look at what's happened today. She has been seen, she has been spoken to.
I don't care if she's been seen and been spoken to, she is not safe in their care.
Okay. I understand this is not the result you wanted.
I think would it be anybody's?
Say again?
Would it be anybody's? Maybe we should go live and let the whole world know what's actually
that's
going
entirely
on.
your right. I'm not going to stand here and be frightened or bullied into a certain
I'm
course
not
of
saying I'm
action.
bullying you.
Okay?
We're not bullying you at all.
What I'm saying, and I know this is not what you want to hear, I'm saying she has been visited, she has been spoken to, she has been seen.
Is this the S47 child protection procedure?
She has been spoken to by children from the child from the social services and
Who's
our
been
own
spoken to?
Cage officers today. She has been seen, she has been spoken to.
Sorry, who's been spoken to?
The child we're
She's 22 months.
Oh, she's not spoken to. She has been observed. We have gone round to see where she is. We have observed her.
Well, there's a
We
lot
have
of
checked
people
her
that can hide a
condition.
lot of things. Nobody knows.
So all these bruises
We have
are
had
okay.
specially trained officers and social services doing this.
So how
Now,
could you
I
explain those
am
bruises
not a
then?
social worker, and I'm not one of those specially trained officers, but I'm relying on the reports of those that have done so.
Yes,
And I'm telling you now, I appreciate your concerns, but we are not taking her from where she is currently. I cannot apologise for social services for not telling you that. They should have done that, and maybe that would have solved this problem, because they might have been in a position to tell you all more detail than I am in a position to tell you.
This is the 4th time she's been harmed. Let me tell you that. They've done a medical report. You need to listen to the whole truth. Okay? They did a medical report after removing her from my daughter on the 3rd. 5 days they waited to do that medical. When my granddaughter was removed, when my daughter was removed on the 3rd, she had no marks or injuries. Your statement from one of your police officers with this statement on the 8th, she then has bruises on her hips, her thigh, a mark from her ear to her cheek, and a cut on her leg. Please do not tell me that you're doing something when nothing is being done.
I'm talking about something that has been done today.
Well, I'm talking something that's been carrying on
This
since
is our action
the 3rd.
that we have done.
So you're
today.
letting her suffer from the 3rd
That is our
up
most
until now.
recent update, I can tell you. And
It isn't good enough. It isn't good enough. When the contact visit was made on, what was the date? 20th of January, wasn't it? The child was clearly traumatised. She was vacant. She was absent. And not only that, but she did not have any suitable outer clothing on her.
Around the 20th, it was really, really cold. She came to the supervised contact with no warm clothing on. She was frozen. She had the marks. She had marks on her forehead. She had red marks on her face.
She was swollen.
She was frozen cold. So she was then assessed by this system that we have no sight of, and which you assure us is acting. She was assessed then and found to be safe, and everything was fine. And then a couple of weeks later, see her again, or actually a month later, we see her again, and then she's covered in bruises in the worst possible place. And now you tell us it's fine. How can we accept that? How can we accept that? And there's a child out there.
You wouldn't accept that if it was your children. I'm telling you that.
I'd be very
I have no way of knowing that.
But I can show you.
I have no way of knowing what
I'm
I'm
trying
doing
to give you the evidence
that
they have lied.
And I know that you have told us that already.
But I've got the evidence, not just that. I've got evidence of them doing a statement under oath with the Abigail from the hotel manager. I've given that to the police. They've done nothing that shows that that is flawed.
If you wish to complain about us or anyone we work with, that's
It's
fine.
not
I'm quite happy
about
to take that. But
complaining
what I'm
about
saying,
it.
what I'm
It's
saying,
about not willing to look at
I'm-
the evidence.
what I'm
Let's
telling
keep
you
it
now-
professional,
what I'm
folks.
telling you now, and that's fine, there's nothing in that report I've seen today conducted by those people who've been there, and I reassure you they have been there. They have done their own assessment there. There is nothing contained in that
So who is they? Can you tell us who they
I can't. They're specific.
So not police?
Yes, there are two other police officers.
Okay.
And they have gone there in conjunction with social services.
Okay.
And had social services updated you of this, I'd like to think they have gone into it in better detail than I'm able to.
Can you follow that up then?
I can, of course I can.
Because obviously you don't want us here at 6 o'clock on a Saturday.
It's not welcome, because I understand your concerns, but there must be a better way of resolving it than this.
Well, if they had contacted the lady...
The only way of
I'm sure that
resolving
would
this
have been
is to remove her from their care and get another doctor's medical. The police or the social workers are not qualified to do an assessment on my granddaughter. She needs a medical assessment, and I'm asking you.
Was it by a paediatrician?
For a medical assessment? No, it wasn't, because police and social services are not qualified to do this.
To be fine where she is.
Let me tell you.
I'm not removing her and taking her to hospital.
Well, then you will be personally held responsible, because let me tell you, in 2016, 2 of my grandchildren, exactly the same happened, okay? It was found in court under a sealed judgment, lies, deceit, all from social services. My 2 grandchildren were harmed in care. So I'm going to hold you personally responsible for any more damages to my granddaughter.
I hear what you're saying and I accept what you're saying.
The procedure,
You're not,
the requirements,
just...
as you probably know, is that when an allegation is made,
they're meant to be escorted to the hospital
by a designated paediatrician. Has that happened?
I'm not going to go into what hasn't happened.
But it sounds to me like it has.
Because I am not...
Exactly.
No, but it's reasonable for us to ask if due process has been followed.
I've told you, all I'm going to be able to tell you...
Has the child been seen by a
we can
paediatrician?
ask the same questions and answers all over again. Okay? I'm telling you that they have been visited today
but
by
not
the
by
social services.
No.
Due process has not been followed by the
and this
and
is,
there is nothing contained in that visit that is going to make me take the child away from where they are.
but due process has not been followed.
Yeah. I'll repeat, there is nothing contained in that process that is going to make me take the child from where they are.
Yeah, because they haven't had her seen by a paediatrician.
Now, I suggest when social services contact you and give you the update that you're entitled to, you address your concerns with them as to whether to the qualifications of the person that have gone round.
Do they have an out of hours service currently?
Social services,
They do.
I can find out for you.
Could you ask that question?
They do have
and I can give you.
They do have
But let the man say. The man's being fair enough. If you could find out if there's a number that we could actually call.
There is, and that's who we spoke to last night. Okay. That's who Siobhan spoke to last night. But
it seems to me will be the one generic number that covers all.
So do we already have? Do we have that number? Do we have that number?
Yeah, we've got.
If you already have it, fine. If not, I can find it for you.
They told me.
Hold on. I know this is an emotive subject. But do you have the number for that?
We phoned them on the 20th.
So if we phone them currently and we don't get the result or the answer that we want, we'll phone 999 and we'll report it as a sexual abuse case, which we believe it is.
You can make that call.
We can make that call.
Okay,
because we've got social work.
Unless you have something new to tell us.
You have a duty of
well, we do.
To tell us. Further to the visit that was conducted today, then it will be the same result.
Except
we have spoken. We have done our visit.
No,
with
the designated.
I am telling you.
He needs to see a doctor.
Sorry.
I am telling you, as I've said already, that the location, the child has been seen, the people who are there have been seen, everything has been assessed by the social services going there, by the child abuse investigation team officers who have been around there, and there is nothing that they have said that gives us any indication that we need to remove the child.
Can I just?
Okay,
can I just listen to you? When an allegation is made regarding possible physical abuse and a child has bruises, child protection procedures state the child should be seen and a child protection medical be completed by a designated consultant paediatrician.
Mm-hmm. That hasn't been done.
I understood from what you said that hasn't taken place, and that's what we're asking to take place, please. Now.
No.
Okay.
I'm not going to do that now.
Why
because
not?
The report I've seen suggests that the investigation is well in hand.
So how much more harm is this child going to be subjected to? Because it will continue, because we've got enough evidence to show that she's already been harmed significantly and injured.
Multiple times.
I'm making this assessment on the visit that happened today.
Well,
by child abuse investigation team officers and the social services officers that were there. Okay? And that's what's generated this whole incident.
But yesterday's contact visit was fresh bruises. Fresh bruises since the week before.
I know.
So how can that child say? How can that child say? She's not. She's not saying, I'll state it as a statement of fact.
I wouldn't have driven here from the mainland if I wasn't horrified by the way this thing has been managed. And the police have been involved at certain times. There's been absolute false, flimsy representation. This child was taken away. Can I just give you an idea of what this woman's going through? Can I give you an idea? She's in contact with this hostel in which the mother, I don't know how much you know about the story, but the mother came out of prison with the child. Only 2 weeks later were any formal transfers of responsibility. No plan. She's placed in a hostel. You friends hotel you're aware of?
I'm not.
Okay. Drugs, alcohol. Money laundering.
Drugs and alcohol were sold on this. This is a safe place for someone vulnerable who was in prison to be assessed and just
is this
left
a place
there
that was
to rot.
found for that person by
Sorry?
an agency?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, by housing.
By housing. So they use it as emergency housing.
Risk assessment that we've seen. Okay, she goes there. She's offered alcohol on the evening that the child was taken away from the mother. This whole abduction, I would call it, relies only on the report of this woman who is saying one thing to the grandmother to keep her, I don't know, to keep her from, and says, no, don't worry, she's fine. And then in her report is reporting psychosis on the part of the mother, drunken behavior, drug use, and so on. So it's insane, officer.
My grandchildren were there. Yeah. They've said that my daughter was hallucinating. My grandchildren are 8 and 9 years old.
There was an abduction attempt at a hotel.
They can identify the people that were trying to get in the room.
The report, which summarises this whole thing that went to court, actually has the wrong child's name in the first paragraph, and that has been in court. That document has been in court 3 times, and nobody's even noticed that they're talking about the wrong child. So it copy and pasted report, which is then doctored to look like it, and they haven't even got the child's name right. And and they've obviously released the name of another vulnerable child for public.
Breach their data.
My point is, I have a recording from the social worker stating that they have no evidence to have taken my granddaughter in the first place, that they rely solely on this statement. I gave you the evidence. It's flawed, it's lies, and no one's doing anything. Please.
I'm sorry, it seems like we're not doing anything. Okay,
this is since early January.
I'm sorry that it seems that you're not being supported.
Today is the 17th of
February. On a positive, you have a family support around you, but it sounds like communication between the agencies isn't doing what we wanted to do.
We're putting you on notice to principal is notice to agent, and we are putting you on notice to act in accordance to your oath. This is a notice to you to perform your duties correctly in accordance with your oath, which, by speaking to us now, you are confirming that you are acting under. You are reminded that by swearing this oath, you solemnly and sincerely promised to serve the people and to act with integrity and diligence in your role, and to the best of your ability ensure that you protect the public. You swore that you would give a voice to the victims of crime and work with other services to ensure the safety of the community and effective criminal justice, and to not seek to influence or prevent any lawful and reasonable investigation or arrest. Further to our reports made to Hampshire and Isle of Wight Constabulary by telephone on the 20th of the 1st 24, and previous ones as well, we are now providing you with further evidence of serious harms and injuries being inflicted on a nearest relative on the 16th of the 2nd 2024, which was yesterday. Photographs were taken of the serious injuries and fresh bruises since the last contact visit on the 9th of February 2020 principles and amount to a possible criminal act by serving public servant. You have now been noticed to perform your duties correctly, without vexation, frivolity or malice. and we are members of the Lawful Enforcement Alliance.
Okay. I've noted what you told me. I've listened politely and let you do it. All I can tell you, it does not change what is happening. But I have noted everything you have said. It's recorded on mine and it's recorded on yours. It does not change the course of action we are taking tonight.
Would you have an email that we can contact you on?
Me personally?
Yeah.
I can get to one.
I'll
go and write it down together with the...
Just so that we can get our... If you could find... Are you working on tomorrow?
I'm a duty inspector.
Are you tomorrow?
Okay, I am around tomorrow.
So would you be able to get us an update by...
I will do my best.
Thank you.
Okay.
If you could.
I am also, unfortunately, the only senior officer on a late shift. I am subject to the ramifications of what happens out on the streets as well. At the moment, we have many things happening.
If you could give us your email, and if you don't mind us having your email, we won't make it public or anything like that, but it's just for the grandmother's safety.
It will be a police email.
I'll give you a copy of this letter that I've read out to you, but this is a notice from...
She's not think about the statement. If somebody's done a statement under oath, and it's proven
a witness statement,
a witness statement that was done under oath at your police station,
yes,
and you've been sent evidence that that's lies, what's been put in that statement, why is nothing being done about it?
I can't answer that question because I don't know the circumstances of the statement or what's been said.
You have to be able to provide evidence that the statement's false.
I have to.
Well, we have done.
All right. The difficulty of
surely, if someone's done a statement under oath for court and for social services to rely on, and everybody else, surely.
And has that been written through the?
Yeah.
Okay. Something to ask the officers.
So, and I'll tell you the lady's name. The officer.
That's the one you're saying was.
Now, evidence has been provided by Juliet to the police on the 16th, no, on the 12th, of January, to Chris Swarsfold and Adam, who are the police officers involved with this. So we are now talking the 17th of February.
Yeah.
So that evidence was provided then that that lady lied under oath.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you've not had
So why is it a whole month has gone by when that's all they're relying on for holding her in under their care and protection is the statement of this woman, and it's been proven to be fake, to be fabricated.
Has it been proven?
So yes.
We think. But where are we supposed to prove it? Otherwise, other than with you guys or in court?
As I understand it, the officers. You.
Well, it's going to be the lady. So,
right. So hopefully they will be in a position to give you an update as to.
Well, hopefully social services will answer the call to us just now.
Okay.
Hopefully.
I'd like to think so.
Well, hopefully.
But again, if it's out of our service, I can't speak.
Well, we'll phone them in.
See how you go.
We'll see how it goes. Yeah, we're definitely going to phone.
I need some crime numbers.
That's on top of that.
That's on top.
The two officers tomorrow will...
I need quite a statement as well.
Okay. Let's try and get one thing at a time sorted in relation to the officers.
Yeah, let's get the baby sorted. Let's get the baby sorted.
But this is all ties in.
I know, but now that you've got us here, we'll start afresh and we'll start, let's make some headway.
Yeah. It's
frustrating.
In the official documents around this whole case, the paediatrician who inspected the child said that the child had been under close scrutiny for the 7 weeks or whatever prior to from release from prison.
She'd spent
the social
20
worker
minutes.
Spent 20 minutes
in my home
at the home. That was. And
now they've made up a child and family assessment, which is illegal, which is false.
The lack of faith in the services is just so totally understandable, and the frustration and watching a family member know or suspect even that the child is coming to harm. And then it seems to me, officer, that even due process has not been followed in the last 24 hours. I think that's a highly qualified social worker saying that the process should be followed with the number.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to say that the evidence that the whole reason that this child is being kept in care under the care and protection social services stems back to a statement made by the hotel manager.
What you're basing your reluctance to act any further on was the assessment by people who are not qualified to make that assessment.
I understand what you're saying.
Okay. And you are relying on that, as are we supposed to. And we know that the social services that we've been in contact with have just been so unprofessional, as you've seen, as evidenced by the fact that we're handling this.
We've got tons of evidence. Like I said, I've got a recording with the social worker stating they have no evidence, and the evidence they're relying on.
Let's get them from the horse's mouth, so to speak. And they might tell us something slightly different.
Are you saying you don't consider this matter to be a serious, urgent matter?
No, that's not what I said at all. We were all here when I said what I said, and that's not what I said.
No, so what are you saying?
What I'm saying is, if you make a 999
No, we're not going to...
The circumstances are exactly the same as we have discussed.
It's not going to be a bogus 999 call.
It's not going to change the I'm not saying it's going to be bogus.
No.
It's not.
So you're satisfied that my granddaughter isn't there?
That's not what I said either.
What did you say?
What I'm saying is, if you make a 999 call and you have no further information on what we have discussed now, it's not going to change the outcome that we're going to go.
No, that's not the road we're going down.
Okay. So
once we speak to the people that we need to speak to, if it's not quite right or quite dissimilar to what you're saying, we feel it's a bit more than that, we'll make the call. If we don't have to make the call, we'll speak to you at some point tomorrow.
I hope you get the answers you seek.
Well, so do we, because the baby's of the primary concern here.
Should it not be that because we flagged up that the due process wasn't followed and the visits that have been made to check this baby have not been made by medically qualified people, and that there is legislation that exists that the child should be taken to a medical professional for an inspection, because we've flagged up that hasn't happened, should you not be enacting in that?
I will instruct the officers to contact you and let you know what's happening.
Yes, but shouldn't that be something that's done tonight?
But shouldn't that worry you?
Yeah.
We're back to the same question before, aren't we? Exactly the same question before. You just asked it in a different way. Am I going to go around and remove the child?
But we've told you there's legislation that exists that she should have been assessed by a medical professional. We've told you that hasn't happened, so due process hasn't followed. So I'm asking you, are you going to enact that tonight?
I am not going to use the fact that someone thinks the legislation has not been followed as an excuse to remove the child from where they are.
I didn't say that.
I'm relying
on the basis on the result that she hasn't assessed herself.
That is what I'm acting on.
But where we're concerned, and where you might be relying on insufficient evidence, is around this fact that the assessment was not made by anybody qualified.
I don't your point. It hasn't changed the answer.
Okay.
So you're not going to enact.
It hasn't changed my answer. No. I am not going to go around there tonight and remove the child.
We're not saying that.
We didn't say that.
Okay?
We said
I will raise your concerns.
But we're not saying that.
Quality
Can
of
we
the
finish
assessment.
what we're saying? We're asking if you're going to go and get her a medical assessment this evening.
No, I'm not.
Right.
So you're going to ignore the legislation.
I'm satisfied.
Ignore the fact that due process has been followed today, and that child is in immediate danger. That's what you're doing.
I have told you.
That's what you're doing.
I have told you what has happened today.
Yeah. And you are ignoring the fact that due process has not been followed by your officers, and that legislation that exists that she should have had an assessment by medical professionals.
I hope you're good to your word, and you'll contact us tomorrow. If you can get the officers to tell that lady that's what needs to happen, and we'll make the calls that we require to make just now. If we feel it's different from what you've slightly said, and we feel that the baby's in danger, we'll make the call. If we don't make the call, we'll speak to the officers in the morning. Okay.
All
right.
I'm very sorry I'm not going to satisfy everything you need. Okay,
where the child's involved, it's an emotive subject, we all understand that, and we are genuinely concerned for the baby, as you would be as a father. So we'll speak to the officers at some point tomorrow, and we'll speak to social services.
I just want to show him something.
Well, the man's not going to change. You're absolutely entitled to do that. That's fine.
Here's the notice that's redacted. Thank you.
All her ear, massive scratch, not even her own scratch. Really swollen. Her hands and that were blue. The way she had her hands squeezed.
That was a month ago.
She had no blanket on her, no gloves on her hands, no hat on her head, and no coat, and it was -2 outside. So she was literally frozen.
Please do something.
notice that they were down to.